hoping to see any sign of the vehicle. So I think the reason why I wasn't getting finding the tracks is I think they came in from the other side. More that way. Sorry, I just missed that question from Safari Wildman. Are the leopards mobile or static? Well, apparently they were static, but I'm not sure. I think Tingana's definitely mobile. But I thought that so I'm just trying to get the update. I think Shingile is on the move now. That's possibly why we're struggling to keep up with the vehicle. Okay. Okay, I'm hearing the vehicle over there. The radio. So I can hear a vehicle there, but I can hear a radio here. Is the Mafazi Ingwe still out of pans, or is she on the move? Oh! Oh, Thandi and okay, copy. Is there still visual on those two Ingwe? Okay, copy. I'm hoping I shall pop out at some stage, and if I can join you, that'll be great. Okay, so it sounds like there was actually 3 leopard around here. They didn't realise until I think one of them moved. So I'm hearing conflicting stories. Some saying there was Tingana here, some saying that it was Mvula and Thandi, and then Shangile was the one that was on the termite mound, but apparently she's headed more to the southwest, so somewhere over that side. Okay, is that a road? That is a road. Awesome. Okay. Can we get off the road or onto the road? Okay. So I hope you're enjoying this. So usually it's a little bit easier to find. Definitely an amusement ride. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to try and come back out maybe a bit further over. Sorry? It's just looking a little bit steep. Go ahead. Actually, yeah, no, you're right. It's just looking very steep there. I'm on Voyatella access now. Okay, copy, thank you. I'm not too far from Sandy Patch now. Thank you. So Sandy Patch is where they are now. They're just up ahead. So it sounds like there. Okay. It sounds like they are still mobile. It sounds like the two. Sure, that was a mission. But hopefully we get to see the spotted cats at the end of it. Okay. We might need to just drop the aerial. Is that okay? There we go. Okay, apparently they kind of firm and just trying to try and get a visual now. Just going to try and see if we can go around, but I think we're going to have to. Okay, they have become stationary. So with any luck, the leopards are also going to be stationary. Copying you. Okay, so I think they're carrying on that way, so just trying to find a way around and keep up with the vehicle. So we're going to try and just go around this little bit here. So hopefully if they get to the open area, I'll be able to see them a little bit better. So they're still there, that side. Still haven't seen visual of them yet. I'm just keeping up with the vehicle. There, I think I see them. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I can see them up ahead. Yeah. I think possibly going towards Triple M, heading towards the sandy patch. Just onto the right there. Okay, they're just over the road. Thank you so much. Can you see them? Are you getting visual there? Just here. So apparently it could be Thandi. Where did she go? There, just here. There's a pair of them together. There they go. I'm just going to try and see if I can keep up with them. Bushwhacking to find leopards. It has been exciting, hasn't it? As I say, it's great to see the cat at the end of it. I think I know what happened, why we couldn't find them to begin with. I think we misunderstood where they were. We kept hearing Gallagher Shortcut, but I think they were actually then saying Aubrey's Road, but they were saying Ops Road. So I'm just trying to keep them in sight. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get through this section here. There we go. Please just slow down, guys. There we go. Going into the drainage line here. Just crossing over there. There she is, just to the left of us. Yeah, stations I've still got visual. I'm just north of Impala Plains. Look at that, everybody. I hope you feel this has been worth it. Sure, that's probably the longest section of bundabashing that I've actually done in a very, very long time. Hello, beautiful girl. So if we can get a positive ID on this leopard, I think they said it was Thandi, but as I say, you guys know these cats so well. Go ahead. Affirmative. I'm not entirely sure exactly where I am. I think I'm north of Impala Plains, but if you want to come to the Impala Plains, and hopefully I'll be able to hear your mover and I'll be able to direct you from there. Oh, they're playing a little game. She's gone down into the crouched position. Almost looks like she's going to pounce on him. Hello, beautiful girl. Actually, I can hear your voices. Oh, hello. Is he coming around the back of the vehicle? Yes, he is. Brilliant. Thanks, James. Female is Thandi. Then we have the big male who's used the vehicle, I think, as shelter. I thought he was going to come and pounce on her. Look at this. Oh, Amazing. So, okay, I think people are saying this is Tingana as well, but if you guys want to help us with the ID and confirm that, that would be great. There he is. Are you guys just going to stay here and chill? He looks like he's on a mission. He looks like a big boy as well. Look at that dewlap. I'd really appreciate you not going back into that drainage line, mister. No, you really don't need to go back in there. Andrew, come in. Andrew, I've lost audio of you. From when I just said I could hear your voice, I was south east of where you were. Yeah, I've still got visual. The Madoda's making a circle behind us now, and the Mafazi's still with us. Oh, she's beautiful. So this is Thandi. This is Karula's first cub. But yeah, Tingana is just... He's actually just behind us. He's sniffing the ground. But he is coming back. She seems to be pretty settled. How special is this? So they were on the move. We arrived and now they're settled. Oh, absolutely fantastic. And here he comes again. Just, I think, coming up from the drainage line to our left again. Oh, he's on our right. He's just here. I don't know if you could hear a little growl from her as well. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. I'm not sure what he's looking for, but he does look like his belly's not full, so it could be that he's trying to pick up the scent of something to hunt, possibly, or whether he's actually checking for other female leopards around here, seeing if they're in estrus. This is really unusual. I've not seen this behaviour. Go ahead. Copy, I can hear you. You need to come directly north from where you are. Really is on a mission. Have we got a confirmation this is Tingana? Are all the viewers happy that it is Tingana? Actually, Thandi is just out of sight, just behind the vehicle. She's like 5 meters. Okay, so quite a few viewers are saying it's Tingana. I'm just going to try and help this other vehicle in. Look at this. Wow. He is, Sierra, acting like a big bloodhound dog. He really is. Andrew, I've got audio. Keep coming. I'll let you know when I get a visual of you. The Mafazi is still out of pans. The Madorda is just mobile, but just circling around the area. I think if you can, try and stay on the southern side of the donga. Copy. Might be on the move now. So if you want to switch off, I'll see if I can switch my vehicle on so you can hear me. Going to try and pull out of here. It's amazing what these vehicles can do, I promise you. Stations mobile. I've got your visual. Andrew, you need to go right from where you are. The Mafazi's just up ahead of me. She's coming out into the open now. Obviously we try and limit any damage to the bush as much as possible. And the male's, yeah, he's on a mission. Sorry, can you repeat that last message? There she is. There's a little thick knee. Sorry, there was a little thick knee right in front, kind of keeping very, very still, hoping not to draw attention to itself. There they are. So a few of you are asking about Shongile and if she's in danger at all, and if she's close by. Apparently Shongile headed off the termite mound. And I think she went in the opposite direction to where these guys were, so it did get a little bit confusing at one stage as to what was going on, but I don't think she is in any danger at all. But I really do want to know what he is up to. Say, because if you kind of speak to people who know leopards, they kind of or semi-know leopards, it's believed that they don't really have a good sense of smell. They still have the sense of smell, but it's not so good. But judging by what he's doing, I still think we've underestimated how good their sense of smell actually is. But he really is like nose to ground, like you said, bloodhound. Now, is she going to go onto a termite mound? Because he's going in the opposite direction. She's kind of like, no, I've had enough now. Sandy saying, I hope he's not looking for Tamba. I hope so too. But yeah, really interesting behaviour going on there. Now she's gone on top of the termite mound. So he's doing a circle back towards the road. Could well be making sure that the another big male is nowhere in the vicinity. Making sure that this female is not going to be taken by another male. So it sounds like everyone is happy that this is Tingana and Thandi on the termite mound. Now Tingana actually forced Mvula out of the area. So Mvula's tenure's not been very long, but look at that dewlap. He really is an impressive male. Still quite small compared to the leopards in the study site in Leidenberg, but still, he is a beautiful boy. Oh, we got our leopards, everybody. Oh, I really feel like we've worked for them. I really do. There's the male again. So we may have to try and avoid seeing the vehicles on the screen, so I will try and reposition. Once they've repositioned themselves, we'll see if we can get another view of Thandi on the termite mound. Okay, I might have to pull out and make some space. So I'm just going to check, because we may have to make space, because they made space for us. And then we might be able to come back to the leopard sighting once everyone's had their sighting. Andrew, can I just check, is there another vehicle interested in this log? Because I'll pull out. Okay, copy. No problem. We'll stay with them then. Okay, it doesn't sound like there is another vehicle interested. So she's trying to keep up with him. Shame, he's really putting her through her paces. But I think we're going to try and reposition, and Tristan is going to catch up with you. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad we got time to see these beautiful cats. Absolutely fantastic. So I hope Tristan's been having fun. We'll see what he's got for you.
Well, I have been having fun because I've been practicing my Morse code skills, because that's all I'm getting from the radio at the moment, and I don't know why my radio has all just decided to stop working. So this morning, seems like something is afoot on Wendy. We've had a spotlight that started working and then stopped, radio that started working and then stopped, so I don't know what's going on. But apparently there's tracks for lions somewhere. I'm now just trying to find exactly where that somewhere is. It was east is all I got of where we were, so I'm trying now to see if I can't find where these said tracks went. I would imagine that they must have crossed Rebecca's towards Quarantine side, because we checked the southern side of Rebecca's and there was no tracks there. So I want to just check now quickly towards Quarantine and see if maybe for some reason they've crossed over that way and we just missed them. It's possible that they might have gone over the northern side of Zoe's. I didn't check that side. So we're still trying to find our lions, which is, I suppose, fun in its own regard anyway. So we've had a good time, we've had some birds. Craig and I had a little sort of orange as a snack while we were driving to get the energy levels up. Craig, was it nice? It was pretty good is what Craig says. So we had one of those, and well, we've just been enjoying the morning. It's been a beautiful morning. The weather is perfect conditions to be on a safari. It's not too cold, it's not too hot, the sun is out, and as soon as the sun is out, it's generally a nice day. So very happy at the moment and very chilled, and have enjoyed my morning. I know it's been a little quiet on the lion tracking front, but it's still been fun to see the lion tracks again, and to have that excitement, and the ellies, and well, the steenbok chasing each other. So I've had a good time, and I'm super happy for Tara. It's always nice when you get to see one leopard, but when you get to see two leopards, well, that's just the best thing. And she got the 2 T's today, so in fact there's 3 T's, Tara, Tingana and Thandi at this stage. So hopefully she will continue to have a good sighting there. And like I say, I'm super glad for her, because she had a sort of dry week where she was battling with the leopards a little bit, and then yesterday Hosanna, so to speak, broke the jinx, and she's now on her way well and truly with these 2 leopards. So it's good for her, and I'm glad that she's spending time with leopards. I know how passionate she is about leopards, so it's always good when you get to spend time with them. So I'm happy for her, and hopefully little Shongile will rock up there as well. I wonder where she could potentially have been. I would imagine that, because the guy's called in Shongile to start with, so I don't know if she's also lurking around there somewhere. Could potentially be that it is hers, sort of somewhere in that Gallagher shortcut block, but you never know. If if Tara doesn't have any luck there, I might just do a loop around Gallagher shortcut and see if she doesn't pop out if we have no luck with our lion tracks. But I would imagine the lion tracks must be somewhere in this general vicinity would be where we would pick up some sort of sign of them. I'm just going to check towards the dam. I don't know if maybe they crossed some dam and we just fortunately didn't see them. Now, I don't see any signs here, so I'm going to just quickly have a little look around and see if I can't find it and see if I can't get my ear working so that I can work out exactly where those tracks are. And while we do that, let's go back to those beautiful leopards and see what they're up to.
Well, we still have them, and it's really unusual actually. I think Thandi must really like Tingana, because generally speaking it's the female that gets followed by the male, but she's keeping up with him. So I'm just, we've got a bit of a roadblock going on, so I'm going to go behind the bush and try and catch them on the other side. And as I say, it's the female's choice. If they really want to mate with the male, they will choose to mate with him. So, see if we can catch up with Tingana, because he is such an impressive boy. I think he would have given Mafufanyana a run for his money in those days, because he was also a big male with a huge dewlap. And of course Mafufanyan, we believe, is Thandi's father. He is a beautiful boy. Really on a mission. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to get in front of him, but hopefully we'll get Thandi crossing in front of us. When she comes by on the road, she's just going to come in here. Oh, he's just spraying just off screen, unfortunately. So he is marking his territory as he goes. Hi, Rebecca. Rebecca saying maybe he's trying to distract, or she's trying to distract Tingana because he's trying to, hello, good, how are you? But yeah, she's distracting him just so that he doesn't look for timber. I don't think so. What is interesting is it's possible that these two have been together for a few days, so it's possible that they're towards the end of the mating. But certainly we haven't seen any mating. I thought we might get lucky when we actually stopped earlier and they were actually running around the vehicle and using the vehicle as cover to... It almost looked like they were going to play pounce on each other, but that didn't come off. He's just stopped up ahead of her. He's circling back again. Hi Rachel, welcome on board this morning, asking if leopards ever purr. And they can't, they're actually incapable of purring. But you do sometimes hear them coughing and kind of and that'll be to call the cubs. He is going again, so let's see if we can follow. He has gone into the bush again. I must admit, this is just so fascinating. I'm learning so much more about leopard behaviour again. Can you see him? Oh, there. Yes. Okay. So, sorry, Sorry everybody, it's been a little bit of a exciteful morning. The penny has just dropped that Tembo is actually Thandi's cub, and I have actually forgotten about that. Sorry about that everybody, I was kind of thinking he was another male. See, this is what happens when you're not here all the time. So if people can remind me how old Tembo actually is, then that might give me a little bit more of an indication. Because somebody was actually asking, I missed who it was then, well, I'm trying to follow the leopards through the bush, whether when she's finished with Tingana, will she go back to Tembo? So he's about a year. Okay, so that's really interesting, because a year old, they are able to be independent, and we have certainly seen it with Karula's too. They've had to become independent because we believe she has gone missing. So it is possible that he's already become independent, and that's why she's come into estrus, because generally speaking they shouldn't come into estrus if so. It's possible that she has been mating with Tingana because Tembo has become independent. So it will be very interesting to see if she does go back and interact with him. But if she, as I say, if she's mating, she shouldn't do. Hi Roshni. Roshni asking how long is the mating ritual, and it can last anywhere between 3 and 6 days, and also fairly regularly they will mate. And it's just like the lions, they have to mate to stimulate the release of the egg, and there's actually barbs on the penis of the male, and those barbs rip at the female inside. So it's not a doesn't sound like a very nice experience, and that's often why they'll scream out, I think. But those barbs actually help to stimulate the egg release, or eggs released to be released. And then usually around the middle section, that's when the fertilization will actually occur. So we still have the two up ahead. So it just goes to show, I mean, we've covered a lot of ground today. We're now heading towards Gowrie, Maine. So that's a good couple of kilometres, I think, covered already. And it's been, what, a couple of hours. So if you've ever wondered how far leopards move, this is really showing you how far they can actually walk. So I am going to stay on them. Now it's starting to open up a bit. There's another vehicle that's got them in sight, so I'm going to try and see if I can skirt around and get ahead of them again, so we can get a look at their beautiful faces. Unfortunately, in my research, this was the side that we saw most often. Because for some reason the cats that I was studying didn't like to look at the camera, they just showed the backside. So I'm going to try and go around the front of them. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, well apparently Tingana has a different idea. I thought he was going to carry on straight. Now they are very visual animals as well, so their eyesight is exceptionally good. their sense of smell is not so great. Interesting her. And there he goes, still nose to the ground. But they are like your domestic cat at home. If they do see something that excites them, they can't help but twitch that tail. Should we see if we can try and get round the front of them? Rusty, you're doing us proud, buddy. Ah, now that's really interesting information. Thanks, Morning Glory. So, Shadow, Thandi, and Kruger have all mated while they still have dependent cubs. See, even I'm learning something. So there we go. So she might well go back to Temba. But as I say, a year old, they are able to start hunting for themselves, so they're not as dependent on the mother for food. So I'm going to try and see if we can get in front again. We're just going to try and take quite a wide angle and just see if he'll actually walk in front of us. So unless he actually changes his direction once again. Yeah, as he has. He is so impressive. So I've seen him scent mark once. They'll also defecate in the road or on game trails. As I say, they're very visual animals, so they'll leave almost like their calling card to say, hey, this is my territory, keep out. Now, it could be that someone has been scent marking along here, maybe that's why he's on that trail, and just making sure that he's really putting it out there, hey, I am still here. Okay, she's lying down. So I'm going to see if we can get to that side just in case some really interesting behaviour happens. I'm going to wait for the other vehicles because we don't want too many vehicles moving once they're stationary around them. So, for those of you who sat at home, just remember this is completely live. This is not scripted, it's not edited together. We're literally just trying to work out really quite interesting. Hi Lisa, wanting to know if I've ever followed a leopard marking its territory, and I haven't been this lucky. This is really, really special. Let's say we do we have seen lots of leopards, but to actually see them for this length of time, obviously you heard we're making space for each other in the sightings, so you don't often get a chance to spend as much time with them like this. And this is really, for me, so exciting, because this is where you really start to pick up the animal behaviour. There we go, he's spraying just up ahead. Very quick. So this really is just something else, and I hope you guys at home are enjoying this. It's really very, very special. Do you mind if I go ahead? Do you mind if I go on? No, he's there. I didn't realise I was just following her. Yeah, he's doubled back again. I was watching her and I thought she went off. Okay. Yes, he is. Definitely, Rick, using the zigzag tracking method. So if you can't find the tracks, you do a little circle and then you do a bigger circle and a bigger circle. But definitely making sure his presence is known. Now, the calling won't really work now because the air has heated up, so it won't carry very far. And actually, when they scent mark as well, it smells like popcorn. It's quite a sweet smell. Hi Justin, Justin wanting to know if we could smell the popcorn in the air. Unfortunately I didn't get close enough to that bush, and the air, there's no breeze this morning, so the air is very still. So I'm not able to smell it at the moment. Oh, Thandi's actually climbing a little tree. Just trying to get a nice vantage point. If I move back you might be able to see her. Just move back slightly. It's just in that tree there. The other vehicles are moving, so I'm not going to move too much. I know it's not great light for you. As I say, we don't want to move constantly around them when they're stationary like this. Just hiding the other vehicles out of sight. We were actually lucky enough to find Kruger one day, calling and trying to relocate her cubs in Djuma and Mishu, but they were quite old when they decided that they were independent enough not to have to rely on bringing in the food. So they were about. They've stopped moving. We're going to try and reposition ourselves, I think. Are you coming down? You're going to lie down. No, she says, I'm going to lie down, thank you. Oh, there we go. Typical. See if we can get a nice leopard pose. down. She's keeping a close watch on him, so she might actually move if he strays too far. See, she's got a couple of rings out of her left ear. There was an alarm call from an impala. I think Tingana's been spotted. I'm just trying to have another look for Tingana, just keeping an eye on him. Ah, white lady loving the shot of Thandi. Very, very special. Still hearing one or two impala snorting. I'd say Tingana didn't look too bothered. Oh, hello. I wonder if she is. Okay, I've lost where Tingana went. I was expecting him to come out here, but she's looking that way, so I think he's gone further in there. Maybe he is following the sounds of the impala. I'm not seeing him. Are you guys going to follow up? Oh, okay. Hi, Misha. Welcome on board. I hope you're enjoying our beautiful leopards. So I think they sing maybe Tingana up ahead. I'm going to try and keep on the tail. Sorry? Yeah, he's carry on moving. I think they're going to try and go around. We'll stick with them if we can. Let's see if she's gone. There she is. I'm seeing that what that's really helpful is that white tail, and that's what cubs actually follow. But wanting to know if males will still mark territory if they get older, and they will as long as they still hold on to the territory. But what tends to happen is males are there and they've rejoined. Males will oh, look at that. There she goes. She's asking him to mate. Look at this. And that's how quick it is. Okay, so we've definitely got confirmation that they are actually mating. So, don't know if you saw, she was bouncing around him, tail wrapped around his neck, asking him to mate. She lay down for him. But as I said before about the barbs on the penis, as he's pulling out. That's why she turned around and gave him a clap. Shal Kamivtar. Shal Kamivtar. Shal, let me know when you're close and I'll pull out for you. I'll make space. Okay, copy. No worries. Just let me know and I'll pull out for you. They are going that way. It's coming back. Oh, that was magic. That's the second time I've ever seen leopards mating as well. And hopefully you got the audio of them. Really very, very special. Oh, Gillian, no! Gillian blinked and she missed it. It's alright, you can replay. So she's on the termite mound here. He's just up ahead. I'm going to try and see if I can sneak in under here. So at least this is fairly open. We're able to follow them a little bit better than what it was. Yeah, she's just going in front of us. I'm going to try and see if I can go around this side. Because basically I don't want to get in between the two. So I'm trying not to disturb their behaviour too much. That's why we're trying to stay behind them as much as we can, and then when they stop then we can reposition. Impala just here, also seeing clearly they're not interested in feeding, and that's usually the way when they're mating. It's nothing else matters. Is that okay there? I'm taking the branch with me. But occasionally we have seen them, the lions mating, eating. So it's not always a strict rule. There's the impala. Ears up, snorting, saying, hey, we've seen you, you can't sneak up on us. So you can see that posture there, just making sure they can keep an eye on where they've gone so they can't sneak up on them. Hi Michelle, and asking if there's any chance we'll see them mating again, and there's every chance. Let's say as they get towards the end of the mating, they won't mate as regularly, and I think that's what we're seeing now. But when they are peaking, when they are mating regularly, it can be every 15-20 minutes. So set your watches and we'll see. So they've circled back towards the plains again. And I think I was in the middle of actually answering a question about older males. So if they get displaced by a younger male, which has actually happened with Mvula and Tingana, Mvula still holds territory, so he'll still be marking territory. But if they get chased out completely and they can't hold on to a territory, then it's likely they will not be marking territory. They may become nomadic. Can you still see them? She's still in there? Yeah, I'm thinking they're coming back out again, aren't they? Yeah. Just trying to get a visual on them again. So they're still seeing, I think, Tingana up ahead. There he is, yeah. And I think Thandi was somewhere in here. Possibly heading back towards the drainage line. Sure. They really are missioning. But how exciting, hey? Sure. Nothing better. Hi, Chest. Welcome on board, asking if female leopards undergo middle age. And we've actually had females getting into their late teens, still having cubs, which is amazing. You too! Oh really? Oh brilliant! Just about last week. I've got 5 more days and then I go again. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you so much. So all the viewers are back home and loving this sighting. As I'm sure you guys are. So just saying hello to a safari viewer. Apparently 2009 who's been watching. Absolutely magic. And I believe we do have some other safari viewers on the vehicles this morning as well, so I'm hoping they're loving these cats. And obviously you can come to Djuma and actually see everything for yourselves. So we're going to carry on keeping up with these beautiful cats, and I think Tristan has some stunning waterbuck for you to see, so enjoy those and we'll be back soon.
We do indeed, Tara. We have a very beautiful scene at Buffelshoek Dam. There's waterbuck on both sides of the dam, and they're all just looking at us at the moment because we came up over the dam wall and I think we surprised them slightly, and so we've got a situation where they're all kind of watching what's going on and just making sure we're not following any potential threat that they may encounter, like lions. The trucks for the Agama Pride, just in terms of an update, crossed over past the dam camp. So if anyone, I don't know if anyone maybe saw them, but they crossed over, then they went over Mvubu. They are packed with crocodiles and can be quite dangerous for animals. Here we don't have the same sort of problems because we don't have the number of crocodiles that they've got up there, but there still is a risk that there could be a crocodile somewhere lurking in this particular area, and that means that waterbuck have to be very careful when they're drinking. They have to watch and make sure that there's no disturbance in the water, and then slowly they'll drink. And that's why they're concentrating on that far side where it's a lot shallower than it is in the rest of the dam. And so any crocodile that's there would potentially show itself by trying to get close to them, and that's why they drink in that area. We also have 2 hippos, which I'm going to go slightly forward and show you those guys. They've just been sitting quite close to the edge and have moved in the last few minutes, a little bit closer towards us. But it's our normal 2 hippos at Buffelshoek Dam. We see these guys here quite often. They tend to really like it here. It's a great place for them to spend time, and now, as we know, winter is getting long in the tooth, and that means that there's not a huge amount of water sources available. We saw Sydney's dam yesterday afternoon is looking all but dry, and so we'll find what the situation with these guys is, that they're going to try and find water holes that at least can cover their body. So Buffelshoek Dam will be a sought out place, that's for sure. And I would imagine that some of these hippos are hippos that have distributed away from Chitwa Dam, or some of the bigger ones on Buffelshoek, like Kaya and those kind of dams up there. See the ever-present oxpeckers, they're also around. Yes, the bird has its own island, you're right, Alice. It's a perfect island if you are a bird, because, well, you can drink from next to the island, you are safe from predators. There's not going to be any birds of prey that are going to come down and hit hippo on the back. Oh, is our hippo going to yawn? Looks like it might. Yes, there we go. Oh, look at the size of those teeth. Thank you for that. That was a very nice yawn. I suppose it is... What day are we today? Wednesday. A Wednesday morning yawn. Why not? It's middle of the week. It's a tough time. What did you say, Craig? Craig is just laughing behind me. I don't know why. I'm sure there will be something will be said later. But you'll find they'll go underwater every now and then. As the sun starts to get up, it gets quite warm. They're going to spend time trying to go under, and they'll be able to hold their breath for about 7 minutes at most. Generally, it's around 5 minutes that they'll hold, but up to 7 is the longest that's been recorded. And so they'll spend a bit of time underwater, and then they'll pop up and be able to then breathe and see and hear what's going on around them and go back under again. Interestingly enough, I read an article about hippos being able to sleep and control their buoyancy even while they're sleeping. So it means that they can sleep and they'll go out, under and up above water without actually physically waking up properly, which is quite amazing. And I'm not quite sure how it all works, because surely there would have to be some sort of exertion of energy to push one's body up above the water surface, but apparently it doesn't wake them up and they can stay sleeping and their body will just control their buoyancy naturally, which is pretty cool. You can see just the eyes and ears and nose sticking out now. Typical hippo on a warm day. And it's amazing how hot it's gotten all of a sudden. It's in the last, I would say maybe 20 minutes, it really has gotten much, much warmer, and the sun feels like it's got a bit of a spike to it today. So I would imagine a lot of animals will be spending their time arod Buffelshoek. Now I'm going to go and try and check Hyena Road, see if there's not any sign of this Inkuhuma Pride. I think they would by now would be looking for somewhere to rest up, so hopefully they have and we'll be able to catch up with them. But while we do that, let's go back to Tara and the, well, sounds like ever-moving leopards.
So, as I was saying before, they're very visual, and Tingana has decided to go toilet right on the middle of the road, or right in the middle of the road. Again, very visual sign. This is very much his territory. Yeah, shall we play Who Done It? Little bit of a giveaway there, though. This is just absolutely magic. I think this is definitely the highlight of being here. There is just something very magical about watching leopards, seeing behaviour you just don't get a chance to see very often. While we're off air, they did have another sneaky mating, so that was, what, 10 minutes or so. But as I say, it's more of an average that they say, about 15-20 minutes. So they did have quite a long gap, if you remember, when they were moving. So it could be they're going to be moving again. So we're just going to say, just keep an eye on them. While we're allowed in the sighting, we're going to stay. Absolutely fantastic. Now that is going to smell, I promise you that. So, if anybody was wondering if they buried their dung like domestic cats do, no. Sorry, there was a comment coming in from Jen. Oh, put it on the dashboard. Are we close enough to see it there or not? Should I move over a little bit? I'm just keeping an eye on where the vehicles actually are, because the leopards have gone through the bush there. If we just, can you see it there? There we go. So I don't have gloves, unfortunately, and also I wouldn't want to take all of it, because obviously, as I say, it is a visual sign, so we don't want to mess up his calling card. And that's really important when we do take leopard samples. We do leave some behind. But you can see it's very dark. So that's to do with what they eat. So that's a lot of blood content in the dung. So maybe he has actually eaten a couple of days ago. That is very dark. Maybe he had something small, because I say that belly didn't look very full. Not quite getting the smell. I think I'm not downwind from it, thankfully. as I say, is very, very potent. So let's see if we can catch up with them. I'm going to also make sure that I don't drive right through it, so we'll try and angle the wheels so that we don't disturb it. This morning, waking me up, and often my feelings are wrong. I wish I was like Tristan. His feelings are usually very right. He had a good feeling yesterday we were going to see leopard, but hi Riti, welcome on board. Riti asking, now that we've seen the mating, how long will it be before we see the cubs? And leopards, it's usually about 105 days after the mating. That's if the mating has been successful. So they're coming back towards the road here. And it looks like she's inciting him again, just through the bushes. Sure. So they're really going for it now. What's that been? 10 minutes or so again? You alright?
Yeah.
Is there another vehicle wanting to come in?
Sorry?
Is there another vehicle wanting to come in?
There's another vehicle.
Is there another vehicle wanting to come in?
I didn't hear anything on the radio, no.
Oh, okay.
And I see two.
Okay, there's a couple of vehicles. This is actually on the main road now, so there's a couple of vehicles that are trying to pull in here, so we don't actually crowd these leopards too much. Hello! I'm going to pull back so that you guys can have a quick look. Sorry? Oh, okay, sure. No problem. I'll pull back anyway. Just so we don't have too many vehicles around the leopard, especially mating leopard as well. We don't want to disturb them too much. So I'm just going to let these vehicles pass. Again, it's really important to make sure we don't put too much pressure on these animals. And young Eric asking if leopards get annoyed with vehicles following them. They don't seem to. I think when if they do, sometimes you can see either the ears flattening or them glancing over the shoulder, and that kind of just means, you know what, you're there, but I'm not overly happy. So then you increase. Oh, the mating again, just through the trees. Sorry. Well done, Senzo. Sure. It's almost like because he's now keeping in one spot, she's almost inciting him every few moments. Absolutely amazing. So, see, there is say a few vehicles there, so I'm just going to pull back even further. I say the problem is this is the main road, so if people haven't heard what's going on, oops, then they're going to bump into this sighting, and as I say, that's why we don't want to put too much pressure on them. There we go. And like I say, it's our utmost priority to not put the pressure on the animals, so we always watch what they're telling us, and occasionally, you know, we might get it wrong, we might bump into them by accident and they kind of give us a bit of a warning, but as I say, as long as we can back off. But you saw when we were there with them, they were moving around the vehicle, they were very nice and relaxed. So I think with Tingana just putting his nose to the ground and he was on a mission, I think it was more that than the vehicle pressure. So we're back on Impala Plains, and I'll listen out to see if there's another space to go back in to that sighting. But everyone's now heading back for breakfast, which obviously you can understand they'd like to see the leopard on the way back. So we'll hang around here, and as I say, I'll see if we can get us in again. But it has been wonderful to see that behaviour, and like I said before, it's behaviour you just don't get a chance to see very often. I think we've been really, really lucky, and you know, in the 10 years of working in the bush, 7 of those have been in an area where there's been leopard, but really seeing leopard like this, you only really get to see it in the sands, in the Sabi sands here in South Africa. And to actually spend the time with them, that's only the 2nd time I've ever seen mating leopard. The first time was just outside my bedroom window, and that was a brief moment in the moonlight. So really amazing to see it out during, you know, the morning. Really quite amazing. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have spent the time with you guys and the leopards and sharing this wonderful moment. Or even this whole drive with you. It's just been fantastic, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. It's gone very quiet around here. No wonder. So Michelle asking what the success rate of mating leopards is, and was I hearing them again? Not quite. Oh, they did do it again. I thought I just heard a oh, amazing. But yeah, I think I remember reading somewhere that it takes around 300 copulations to produce one cub. So it might be something in that area. So I would have to try and find that little fact out again. But it takes a lot to try and produce the one cub, and then obviously the survival rate is also fairly low, really, if you consider. So they can have 2 to 6 cubs, around 3 or 4 might be the average. We've had Kruger, obviously she's had a couple of cubs each time, but that's the cubs that we've seen. We're not sure if it would have been the cubs, because when they first born, as I say, they're about this big, so they're completely helpless and they're completely vulnerable to anything and everything. So she leaves them in the den to go hunt, then they're open to snakes, they're open to jackals, literally anything that can get their jaws around a baby leopard can eat it, and obviously that can happen if they're not very well concealed. So she'll find somewhere like a termite mound and leave them in the hole. They'll find them in a little drainage line, maybe a little scrape just in the bank, something like that. So she'll actually try and hide them as best she can. She'll move them around as well, so that her scent isn't pulling predators to the den as well. So there's a lot of things that they try and do to try and limit the loss, but that's why they do have several cubs, because hopefully out of that bunch, one might make it to adulthood. Whereas with the antelope kind of put all their eggs in one basket, so they can only really carry... Franklin, is there anything sneaking up behind us there? Franklin just went wild behind us. It's not as if I snuck up on them. I've been stationary the whole time. But yeah, antelope put all their eggs in one basket to produce one offspring. But that's really well developed, in the hope that that's going to carry on into adulthood. So speaking of antelope, I think Tristan has some for you. So let's see what he has.
We do. We have probably one of the more beautiful antelope that we get out of here. Well, I suppose all of them are quite pretty, but we've got our largest antelope. Let's use that to describe them, which is the kudus. And they're in this morning sunshine. You can hear the Cape turtle dove behind me also going at it. and they're just slowly ambling along back into the thickets. Now they've come out of an area where the last tracks for these lions went into, and they look very chilled, so I don't think they've in any way bumped into lions. So maybe these lions have moved on beyond this and we've just missed their tracks. Hyena Road is a very difficult place to track. It's very hard and narrow and not easy to find tracks themselves, so a little bit unfortunate. But there's another kudu about to come across the road. I just love their ears. My favorite part about them is those massive ears, and of course they are of use. It's not just because they want big ears, it helps them to hear very well. And when they walk, I love how their head also rocks as well. They almost remind me of that Egyptian song where they move their head around. That's how I always think of the kudu when they're walking. Fortunately though, they are disappearing into the thickets as the rest of them are almost gone now. It's just this last one that came across the road. So from here I'm not quite sure where to go anymore. These lions have walked so far this morning that it's been a bit of a nightmare. We've been tracking them all morning, and it goes like this sometimes. Sometimes you just don't get much luck and the lions end up being a little bit ahead of you the whole morning. And I don't know from here where they could have gone because, oh, what's wrong, Nyala? There's a Nyala that's taking his frustrations out. Maybe he's also been tracking lions this morning, but he's smashing his face against a tree, which is probably what I feel like doing as well when I track lions and don't find them. Now, of course, he's not actually doing that out of frustration. Are you caught in the tree? I think he was horning the tree, which is what they do sometimes when they display to other males. There's another younger male behind him, but it almost looks like he's caught up in it now. I'm sure he'll free himself. There we go. And freed ourselves of the tree. But they do sometimes horn trees in displays to other males, and I think what happened was, unfortunately, all the branches caught behind him. You can see, look, he's now fluffing his back up as well. So he's practicing what's called philo-erection, which is basically to make himself appear larger. So the male that just disappeared off to the left, who's behind the tree there, showing that he is the bigger, stronger male, and intimidating that male with its hair and its horns and its ability to smash branches with its horns itself. So that'll be to teach that younger male that he is still the bigger, more dominant male within this grouping. And Nyala are quite interesting because they'll often do this even when there's a female around and she's in heat. You'll find that they'll move around one another in this intricate kind of dance with the hair up and sort of exposed, and they make themselves really appear quite large, and it can go on for quite some time. I've seen it happen for over an hour where they just walked around each other, and eventually one just left and the other one stayed and ended up mating with the females. But pretty interesting to think if we compare that to even the smallest animals like the steenbok that fight with one another for dominance. It's interesting that the Nyala have a more gentlemanly way of settling things and not so barbaric as some of the others, and they're able to deal with it. But they will fight eventually if two males are very evenly matched and they're both physically of a similar size. You will find that they will then go after one another every now and then. Now, I think my favorite part of a Nyala is probably their tails. They have the most odd tail. The tail looks as though it's got a life of its own. So it's big and bushy and sort of fluffy, but when they wiggle or when they flick their tail, the bottom part of it seems to be completely loose. It's almost as though there's no bone towards the end, and it kind of flips and flaps all over the place. So I really enjoy a Nyala's tail. I don't know why. It's just one of those weird things that happens. I can hear some oxpeckers coming over as well. I'm sure they're going to land on the kudu and the Nyalas that are in this area and feed off all the parasites that they potentially have. But what you can see now with this Nyala, which is quite nice, is the camouflage patterns. You see how the lighter colored legs really blend into the lighter grass area, and then the darker coloration more into the shadow part of the bush. So they actually do blend really well by having that distinct leg color and having it different to the rest of the body, because if they had dark legs, those legs would stick out very easily, whereas now they tend to blend in a lot better than if they were dark. You can see a couple females in the background there as well. Maybe he was trying to impress females by headbutting a tree. They don't look as though they're too impressed, do they? They all look as though they're moving away. Riti, you're asking is it mating season for all the animals at Djuma? Riti, no, not necessarily. Things like elephant, buffalo, zebras, lion, leopard, they just mate at any time of the year. As soon as they come into an estrus, they'll be mating, and they don't really worry about seasons. You'll find that the antelopes depends on their duration or their gestation duration, and they'll then have different times that they'll mate. So we know that the impalas were mating around sort of April, May, that area. That's when the rut was in. And then you'll find with other animals that it might be earlier or towards summer, or it might be later in the winter, just depending on their gestation period. So there's a pretty much mating that happens throughout the year between all the different animals. It's not confined to a single season between them all. So now, talking about mating and all these things, I believe Tara has now moved on from her mating displaying leopards, and well, I wonder where she's going. I suppose she's going to head home for some eggs and bacon now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've worked up an energy and appetite, using all the energy. I don't know how the leopards do it on an empty stomach, but we have actually left the leopards. There's a lot of vehicles still on that road, so we've decided just to leave that area completely. Hopefully we might get them this afternoon if they're still around. That would be amazing. But it really has been a wonderful morning, and yeah, as I say, it just goes to show you've no idea what's going to happen until it unfolds in front of you. And it has just been wonderful. I know a lot of you were excited with anticipation, as I was this morning, about what we might find. And having mating leopards, I think, is definitely up there on one of my top 10 sightings. So really, really magic to share that with you. And I really hope you've enjoyed it as much. And as I say, some really interesting behaviour. I'm certainly going to be mulling that over as well. And it just goes to show you don't know, nobody knows everything, and the more you actually learn from each other and the more you experience, the more you can actually build on what you do know and learn more. So really quite amazing. And as I say, quite a shock to me. As I say, I've always known leopards, they have the cubs, they become independent, and then they mate. But as we've seen today, that's obviously not always the case. So really interesting. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I know we've had some beautiful sightings of elephants as well, and some antelope. So hopefully you've enjoyed quite a variety this morning, as well as the mating leopards. Oh, cherry on the cake, hey? But thank you all so much for all your questions. It's really great to hear from you, from your comments as well. And it is just wonderful. I love Safari Live, as I hope you guys do as well. And I hope you'll join us for our afternoon drive this afternoon. So wherever you are in the world, take care, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye from myself and all the team here at Safari Live.